Linda Martin Mills in Langhorne, new customer. Scope of work, mulch install, bush trimming. I would try to check in with the wife if possible, Linda. She was not home. I did walk and talk to the husband, but he wasn't specific with walking the entire landscape. So upon arrival, I would just kind of walk for a brief rundown. I'll put it on the estimate as well, so we're on the same page with everything, but just to make sure that the wife is her expectation of what we'll be doing in terms of really more so trimming is good. He was kind of like, use your judgment, do your thing, which is all good. But starting over here, I'll start in the front yard, walk to the backyard. So pretty much just use your judgment with trimming everything and shaping it, depending on the timeline when we come back to do this. You got a bunch of daylilies in here, you don't have to mess with them, but rake out, clean out the mulch and install new mulch, trim up, and then walking in the front and a little bit around the mailbox. I would just use string trimmer to kind of clean up his edge for him, cut back some of this stuff that is dead and dormant obviously out of here, and just really probably hit it with a rake will take a lot of it out. And if there's anything overhanging, I would just string trim and kind of edge out and around the square of it, the pavers. Moving here, a lot of just judgment. They have a lot of this stuff that's dormant and dead. Kind of pull it out, rake it out, clean it out. A lot of daylilies too, so there's nothing to do with them. Just toss the mulch. The azaleas here, you can just trim up and shape, light trimming, shaping. This one looks like it maybe hasn't got hit, but probably wouldn't do too much on the top, but just do our usual kind of like a umbrella cut here. Just give it kind of like a nice level look. You got ones that are getting close to the ground, but just try to give them a nice trim so it looks like an umbrella look. Anything that's real crazy, you could probably clean up, that's sticking out dramatically. You could probably cut out, but most part it's the underneath portion of it. Trim and shape, trim and shape, trim and shape. Mulch up. Got mulch here. And then the backyard, there's just a lot of shrubbery and things of that sort to trim and shape. So just kind of go through it. A lot of mulch back here. Trim and shape all this. Trim and shape that up. Just give it like a light prune. Nothing seems to be too crazy dramatic of a cutback, unless she says otherwise. A lot of this just needs a good rake out and clean up. Any of the grassy stuff that you see, you can just cut it. Any leaves and debris, obviously, let's just get them out of here. Light prune up here. All the liriope do our usual kind of cut back. Again, if you have two people, it's kind of nice because there's so many liriope. Somebody just kind of holds it and then somebody smacks it with the hedge clipper. It's probably the easiest way to get a nice clean cut on those. You can mulch all around here. I wouldn't mess with anything with the actual garden beds. I'm going to leave that out of the estimate. If they wanted us to do anything in there, it would be additional. Unless they just want us to quickly rake out the leaves, maybe you could throw them a bone, but tall grasses, cut them, haul them away, trim all this back. You got a ton of liriope in here to cut back. Trim and shape. You kind of transition into not a ton of mulch where the liriope are, but a little bit, and then you have stone that you can just not mess with. Just maybe blow over it, any leaves and debris, because he did say if you can get me a price for a yard cleanup, but there's not really that much going on besides all the beds. There's not a ton of grass and there's not that many leaves, so I wouldn't bother with it too much. One good mow, it'll take care of the little bits of leaves. So trim and shape, cut these down, cut all the tall grasses down, more liriope here. The one I might separate, I think these are burning bush maybe. I might separate this because he didn't know if he wanted a price or not. And it's kind of a lot of trimming, so if they do want it, if they don't want it, I don't want to inflate the price. So I might have this separated out, I'm not sure yet, to trim all these up. And as far as how much, probably like a foot. It's starting to get into the yard here, so trim them up. And then maybe about a foot off the top of all these, trying to just get them close to level. Like this one's a little lower than the one next to it, so this one maybe more of a dramatic cut. Ideally try to get it the same height when it comes to trimming them. They're a good height. They're probably about 10 foot high, so 8-foot ladder should do it. Try to trim these before they start really growing in. yeah, so trimming all them back. Not too much trimming here, a little shape up here, a little shape up here. Getting a lot of mulch back here. Trim all this up, and that is it. And a little trim up there, but that's it.